And we're live, obviously, again. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Hi, everyone, and welcome to Game of Thrones Epic Pre-Show for Season 2, Episode 9, Blackwater. I'm Curtis Hollister.
I am Sheldon McGilvery.
We've got a review of the key scenes from the last episode, The Prince of Winterfell, some great fan feedback, and lots of discussion around where Episode 9, Blackwater, may be heading.
So get the bald chickens out of your lederhosen, because we're vibrating the cosmos with Dornish Red and ready to take it to the wall, Curtis.
The Dornish Red is flowing in copious amounts of Dornish Red.
It is delicious.
So let's get into the pre-show. We've got a short time before the actual Episode 9 Blackwater starts, which we'll do some forecasting on where we think that's going to go.
I'll give you one guess, Curtis.
It's going to.
I'll give you one guess where the title Blackwater is going to go.
Yeah.
However,
geographically located around Blackwater Bay, outside of King's Landing.
Regional.
Yeah, it's a regional thing. Yeah. So let's do some quick recap of some of the things that happened in the last episode, then go into some fan feedback and some forecasting as at the same time. So obviously, Robb Stark got stark naked.
Robb Stark got stark naked.
Yes.
And there was penetration. There was almost full frontal nudity. It was fantastic.
So,
there was a lot of money sent their way for the kind of scene they.
And although, I mean, everybody wants Robb and the girl of Volantis girl to hook up this way.
There's implications here, though.
There are, because in the time of, Westeros and these clans and so forth, many of the marriages were arranged, and Robb is already kind of betrothed to somebody else.
He is promised to a Frey, Curtis. Now, the Freys, if you remember or not, actually own the river bridge with the two towers, one on either side, and the deal that Catelyn Stark worked out on the way down was that Robb would be one of the deals. Robb would be married to a Frey. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Where exactly is Tywin Lannister located? Is he above there and able to access Robb Stark, or does he have to cross that river bridge to get there?
He's just left Harrenhal, right? So Harrenhal is kind of in the center of Westeros,
right?
And that bridge is at the Twins is at the top of. It might be the Green River. It's basically he's at the Trident, effectively.
He's at the Trident.
He's just south of the Trident.
Does he have to cross that bridge?
I don't think so. No.
I don't think so.
He's heading to River Run, and River Run is at the intersection of the major rivers, when to the left of the Trident, effectively, and that's where he's heading. He doesn't have to actually deal with Walder Frey. And a little background on Walder Frey: this guy is your skeevy old guy. He's like 95. He is 95 years old, I think, in the books.
20 wives. Amazing.
He's been on everything but the Titanic. He is really not like the kind of guy you want to even be associated with family events. That's for sure. No. So he's a skeevy kind of scummy guy that doesn't do a lot, and
he's not the kind of guy you want to betray.
If word gets out, Robb has just kind of done maybe something that wasn't allowed.
Well, I mean, he has obviously not had the foresight to think that bridge might come in handy as a defensive thing later on in the in this war, or that he may have to come across it at some point.
He's getting his wick wet. He might not be thinking about this. Like lots of people do, kind of cheat on their wives and so forth in the time of Westeros, but. If there's more to it than that, don't forget, too, that the Freys have also contributed about a couple of thousand men, 3,000 men or so, approximately.
Exactly.
And that, if you only have 18,000 men, or thereabouts...
It's substantial. Both situations are not good for Robb Stark.
Absolutely.
Or may not be good for Robb Stark, it looks like.
Absolutely. So,
he didn't think with the right head, Curtis, really, is what happened here.
Yeah. It's
lesson to everybody out there, please.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Always remember.
And he wasn't wearing a glove.
No, he wasn't. So we might have some Stark babies.
I mean, maybe he was. Who knows?
Might have some Stark naked babies on the way.
Another key storyline for me, the last one was, and I did get a little bit of negative feedback, which is totally welcome, by the way, around mini spoilers. And by no means was I trying to highlight, the relationship between Jaime and Brienne and their path that they're going on to it, overplaying that. That being said, what you've got is this dynamic where Jaime continues to basically be this insulting, the Prince of Insults.
Arrogant.
And Brienne is this kind of misfit toy within Westeros. And she is in charge of getting him safely to King's Landing through a labyrinth of treacheries.
Yeah, right? Definitely.
And pitfalls.
And given what's actually on its way to King's Landing, right? I mean, we all know that Stannis and Devos are on their way. The title of tonight's episode hints at that. And, I mean, when are Brienne and Jaime to arrive? They're obviously not in the middle of a siege.
And they're in a canoe, right? She's dressed in armor.
And the very purpose of his release was Catelyn was hoping she would get her daughters back, as Jaime gave his word for that. Now, that was a tragic kind of thing. Like, if you... King's Landing's under siege, though.
I know.
Will her daughters even be, you know...
I mean, but the fact of the matter is, like, who would not promise to get their daughters back if they've been chained to a pole for the last, month?
Of course.
He'd be willing to say anything.
Anything.
So I think that the problem with Kat, in this case, Catelyn Stark, is that she's made this kind of deal with Jaime, and there's been no indication that Jaime will ever fulfill any of the kind of commitments or oaths that he's made to anybody.
I think she's very desperate at the moment,
and that's going to possibly lead to issues with Karstark, who is the bearded chap, that was kind of blowing a giblet and wanting to kill Jaime for choking his son with the chains.
Who accused Catelyn of treason as well. So.
And that would be treason if it wasn't Catelyn Stark.
And Rob put her under guard last episode too. So I mean, she's going nowhere fast. But about Brienne and Jaime, though, I just wanted to mention I thought it was a little unrealistic that Brienne went into a full suit of armor into a small canoe like that.
Yeah, that was like out of Jaime, that was a Hobbit canoe.
Jaime would just have to kind of go whoop, and Brienne would sink to the bottom.
Yeah,
end of Brienne.
Yeah, and now he's in chains, so maybe that'd be hard for him to make out. But if she gets in more than 7 feet of water, she's in trouble.
You can't swim with a full suit of armor on.
Yeah.
Anyway, if it was really Brienne, the way we know her in the episodes in the books, you'd think she'd take her armor off. That would be kind of like taking your shoes off at the door or something.
Yeah, and I mean, there's an interesting dynamic in this relationship that does form. These two do go on a journey together. I hope that they are able to capture that. Yeah. They do go on this kind of personal journey, though, too, like where more develops than you would expect in the relationship.
We hope.
Yeah. I mean. It is a plot line without spoiling anything. Just this is something that you can be interested in waiting for more than anything else. Aria is definitely back to Harrenhal.
Yep.
Jaqen H'ghar has fulfilled. He's actually exceeded his quota on kills of 3 because it did look like he had.
But was it the kills there, or was it the third one was to help her escape?
Exactly. I'm being
a plural
glib.
versus
Yeah, exactly. I'm being glib, but Aria has now left
Harrenhal.
And within the books, to bring that back without continuing to spoil anything, there are a lot of chapters in the books about Aria's journey now post Harrenhal. I mean, you really do get into the story of Aria and her journey and how she kind of navigates these things. And she comes into a contact with a lot of other characters that haven't been introduced yet. So, I mean, from the point of view, this is our second last episode. We can expect to see quite a bit more Aria in season 3.
I think so. I think I didn't know it would be at this point, at this late in the season. I thought it would be earlier and we'd have that story development, but I'm terrible at syncing the books with the show, so I just assume that we're headed where I think we are, and it should be great. Now, Jaqen H'ghar, are we done with him yet? I have no idea. I mean, is he out of the picture? That's up to HBO.
Yeah,
and
the interesting part about him as a storyline, when you get into like Westeros and Essos, these two basically continental elements within the landscape of the story of Ice and Fire.
Yeah.
You've got all of these guys, like you've got these sword masters that come out of Braavos. You've got effectively slaver nations along the southern region of Essos. You've got, I mean, it's kind of a melee of a place of trade and kind of like hot. It's like, it's this kind of like almost dusty, a Middle Eastern kind of like theme to the southern region of it.
Yeah.
And maybe like a Spanish theme to Braavos or something like that, if you were to liken it to places. But there are these specialties that they have, like assassins and so forth, and these guys are bad dudes. And Roller, the god of light, originated out of Essos, did he not? I mean, the following of Roller?
The following came from the Red God. Yeah, definitely arrived at Westeros.
Yeah.
So it had been occurring before that. But.
And I believe I mean, although the books don't go into a lot of storyline about the religion in Essos, it is interesting to say that this place that's kind of outside of our knowledge, other than through the Dothraki and through Korth, you don't really know what this place offers. Like there's a lot of mystery to it. And one of the greatest cities that ever lived, Valyria, and the doom of Valyria, where the way to make Valyrian steel, all of that was lost, and that was typically kind of indicated that it was around volcanoes. So
yeah, some sort of apocalypse.
Again, that's a lot of kind of backgrounder that just brings a little bit of light to what might be kind of...
Hagar is apparently from Essos.
Yeah.
And so that's the connection you're making.
Exactly.
And that here's a little backgrounder on the type of environment, the type of culture, the type of place that's sort of...
He's a follower of the Lord of Light,
fused into Jaqen Hagar.
Yeah.
And we have a very proficient killer from the show. And we're not... I mean, we'd hope... because he's a favorite of mine. I really would hope to see him later on. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what HBO does.
Yeah, we'll see. Exactly.
Where are we now? Theon.
I mean, the Theon story is really just more of the same for me. It's more of Theon kind of just being like battered around. He's saying the one thing that
most recently by his sister.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, he is the whipping horse effectively for the story.
Where are we going though?
But he did say, "I'm not going to leave Winterfell. I'm going to stay."
Yeah, and so all we know is that Roose Bolton's bastard son Ramsay Snow is on his way with a force from the Dreadfort. So I don't know if we'd have a title like Dreadfort tonight if that was the subject of the episode. I think they're going to focus obviously on Blackwater, but this is still something that's inconclusive, something that hasn't happened yet.
Exactly.
I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what does happen. Theon's not leaving. Ramsay's on his way. I don't think his sister's going to stick around. And so that's something that we might see some more development in tonight. I look forward to it if it is. And to everybody out there, I do still feel that Theon is grossly misunderstood, but I'm going to mention it later on, just in about 5 or 6 minutes. Okay.
So the other part is Jon Snow and the Wildlings and Corn Halfhand. They're all together. Basically, they're stuck.
His life's still in the balance.
They're prisoners now. They're prisoners. You don't know if anyone's going to live out of this. Anyone's going to die.
We don't know what Mance Rayder's going to do.
And Mance Rayder is somebody you don't meet for a long time in the books. He's mentioned, but he's this kind of like, blank character. So it'd be interesting to show see if they show him or not.
Fast forward a little bit.
But obviously, I don't think that they will. I think that's going to be a season 3 thing. But what that indicates is that there's all of these forces. Like they talk about Mance Rayder having 100,000 wildlings, the King Beyond the Wall. They're talking about, Dorne hasn't got into this fight yet. We're talking about Highgarden, the guys like the Tyrells. They're a force. Stannis Baratheon, he has, all of Renly's troops. So, which kind of probably around 60 to 100,000 people. I mean, there's all of these different armies. There's the Dothraki, the horse guys. You just don't know who's going to end up.
We have 2 episodes left.
Yeah,
like it's all coming down to the wire. These next 2 episodes are going to have to tie up some of the loose ends, or at least give us an indication of where we're headed. And right now, some of them are loose. Theon's loose. What happens to Hodor, Bran, and the gang is a little bit loose. We're still not sure.
Dragons?
We're not sure what's going on, where Daenerys will be tonight or in episode 10.
You do notice that Jorah Mormont wears his armor quite a bit more now than he ever has.
Yeah, full armor on Jorah as well. He doesn't have to worry about water though, or falling out of a boat.
Yeah, so
but it must be pretty damn.
But I think what we're going to see probably in this episode is something to do with the House of the Undying. I mean, you want to. It's an interesting part in the books for sure. I mean, it's this creepy blue-lipped dude. I mean, you want something bad to happen to him.
That'd be a neat drink to try, by the way.
Yeah, I mean...
Or drink a Dornish Red, but it would be nice to try. What did they call it? The Warlock Brew? It's like some blue sort of wine or something.
Yeah, I mean, it turns their lips blue. They did.
If anybody knows the name of it, let us know on comments if you like.
Yeah, it's good little facts and figures. But the fact of the matter is, she's got to get those dragons back.
Absolutely.
And she's got to go see the people that have them.
Yep, and it'd be cool to see how that happens.
I agree.
I think that'd be awesome.
Let's close out the recap with its. We'll come back to this in a way because we want to focus on Well, let's actually talk about Tyrion, Varys, Bronn, and Wildfire. So we had a lot of comments back on the fan blogs, just basically saying that Wildfire is pig shit, pig shit is Wildfire.
Thank you.
That's right. I don't know if I was just deep into an ether binge when I was going, what is pig shit? Obviously, that's Bronn's comment. What the cool scene here is we've got Bronn and Tyrion and Varys talking about strategy from old books. Then we've got Varys and Tyrion and Joffrey on top of King's Landing.
Varys,
yes, sir.
Yeah, Varys, yeah.
Talking about the strategy and Stannis coming with all these ships and Joffrey being kind of in denial about the facts of the matter. This is what this next episode, if it's called Blackwater, is probably all about. If they fulfill the dream, is that we've got Stannis on his way here. We've got this element of Wildfire, which is effectively like napalm, for lack of a better kind of comparison.
Yep.
And
it burns through everything: metal, stone, wood, armors, useless.
Tissue paper,
yeah. Skin, thin membranes of skin membranes. Probably burn some fish.
Yeah, feathers.
What else could it burn? Butterflies. Butterflies will burn.
And angel tears.
And pig shit.
Angel tears.
Yeah.
What's interesting about this scene coming up here is that we know that they've got this kind of ace in their pocket, but they don't have any army. They've got a fortified building.
Yep.
They do not have troops. They've got the King's Guard.
Yep, that's
and
true.
And the Gold Cloaks. And that's not a lot of guys. It's a couple thousand people. And they've got a city that is effectively rising up against them every moment of every day, which is about 500,000 people according to the books.
A lot of potential for that's a huge city.
It is a huge city in that time,
people.
And it's probably even bigger based on the fact that you had a lot of immigration coming into into it.
Yeah, and how many visitors do you have coming and going too?
Yeah.
That's a whole lot. Travelers.
And ice cream trucks.
That would be fantastic in the lower part where they sell that brew.
Ice cream.
But that is true though. There's a lot of potential for rebellion from within. There's basically the walls are the only thing between a massive force from Stannis and basically the royalty in King's Landing.
And when the last rebellion happened, which I think was I don't know if it was 9 years ago with Robert Baratheon, Stannis' brother, the gates of King's Landing were open because the Kingslayer, Jaime Lannister, stabbed Aerys Targaryen in the back. Like, stabbed him. Dead.
In the back.
Dead.
Yep.
So the Mad King, he killed, and it was Jaime Lannister that actually did that. And at the time, let's not forget, too, that pre the rebellion and joining the rebellion, Tywin Lannister was the hand of the king for a period of time.
Yep. And this time Joffrey says he's going to fight.
The Lannisters have always been aligned with who's ever there.
Sure.
So their loyalty's a little bit funny at times, obviously. So my point is that we've got the city that is only defended from the point of view of it can withstand a siege to a certain extent. And it's Maegor's Keep that I think they'll all kind of go back into at the end. And then they've got Stannis Baratheon, who is a badass mofo.
And Devo Seaworth, who can get things done.
Yeah.
He's got a history of it.
Stannis is a fighter. I mean, like him or not, he hasn't got
he has no conscience. So he has no limits.
And
he has no limits and he has no mercy.
So he is the kind of guy that can take King's Landing. Whether he'll do that or not, or whether this Wildfire will be enough of a defense in combination with the siege weapons.
Yep. We'll have to see.
We will have to see.
From comments. Now, anybody watching right now obviously knows you can see us live at GameOfThronesTV.tumblr.com. Our pre-show always airs at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Our post-show or after-show, where we do a little more extensive analysis and review, usually a little more like 45 minutes, will air usually at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on GameOfThronesTV.tumblr.com. You can see all episodes present and past at youtube.com/socialpixels, where we gather a lot of the comments you guys have been leaving. You can also follow us on Twitter 24/7 at socialpixelstv. I do want to mention, shout out to a few of you guys. Thanks a lot. I'm the guy talking to you all the time, so I appreciate your comments and all the feedback we're getting. Ursania, thank you very much for some of your feedback. One thing you did mention was that the soundtrack for Season 2 is out, if anybody's interested. And the last song, number 21, is named Three Blasts. We don't know if that's a little foreshadowing here or not.
And if that was, it would be foreshadowing for the guys on the wall saying,
right.
Because
remember, Three Blasts means White Walkers. So
yeah.
That is something to think about. We're not sure where that's going, but thank you very much for that comment. Your second comment, we will mention in the after show at 11. We want to do something there I'll get to in a second. Aragorn, 44 Aragorn, your feedback was excellent. Thank you very much. We really appreciate the positive nature of it. We're really glad you liked the show and you've liked all the shows we've done, and we're glad that you're staying tuned for life. So stay tuned
and
right
subscribe
here.
Subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe to the YouTube channel, guys.
Because we're going to try and do some after shows after the series is done, and we're going to see if we can get some more interviews with other actors from the series.
Yep, we've got 5 requests out for more interviews, so we're working on that. We're hoping to do kind of a bit of a character study. So it would be a little bit about the character through season 1 and 2, and then hopefully an interview with the actor either over the phone or via webcam. So you'll be able to see it right here. If you subscribe to or follow our blog or subscribe to our YouTube channel, we'll be uploading them there. And you'll be able to see them anytime throughout the summer. And if you're following us on Twitter at Social Pixels TV, you'll be able to see our tweets that will mention that we've uploaded something new. So Aragorn, thank you very much. I think it's Dr. Virkovs or Dr. Viskovs. Thank you for your feedback. Scott T248, of course, and Os Jor, thank you very much for clarifying pig shit. We're very happy about that. And Scott, you continue to watch and continue to follow. We really appreciate that. Thank you.
The fan feedback has been pretty positive,
it's
actually.
Been very positive.
And what's great is there's a lot of people that are quite knowledgeable about the books and are able to contribute. And I think that's really great because the more people that read the books, I mean, you really appreciate the show more so that any of you that haven't read the books, start reading book 2 now. Like or book 3 now.
Yep.
You can do that.
It just deepens the appreciation.
But you can start on book 3. You don't have to read them in order, and you'll still get a lot out of it.
The detail's great. If you love Game of Thrones on HBO, read the book. It's not hard to read. You'll be glued to it. You know all the characters already, and it just really deepens your appreciation of what they're doing. The characters, they're well developed. The storylines are very deep. So. The HBO gets there to a major extent.
And it's an easy read, to be honest. It's actually...
You can't put the book down.
Yeah, it's very accessible as far as a read goes.
Just a couple more. Epicos 310, I hope you're clear on Jack and Hargar now, and wanted to make sure you asked a pretty valid question. If you have a question for us, guys, ask it online. We'll do our best to answer it accurately. And I think Ostjor and Iron Throne, your points are very well taken. We did get a little carried away last week on our mini spoilers. We more appreciated the storylines of a few of the characters that we had some comments suggesting, or had read some comments suggesting that those characters nothing was happening. We just wanted to encourage people to keep watching. But we probably had a little too much wine, so that won't happen again. We will do our best not to provide those.
That part, the too much wine will happen again, probably.
Yeah, the too much wine, we're already going there. So Iron Throne, I just want to mention this user has a channel, youtube.com/Iron Throne, where he's actually organized after show reviews. There's about, there's like 8, 12, 15. He does every single episode in season 2. That he could find, I assume. There's also a couple of actor interviews in there. One is Hodor from us. Another one was Jaime Lannister interviewed. He set up very, very nicely. It's like a one-stop shop for all of your Game of Thrones after-show reviews, pre-show reviews, Game of Thrones content. It's youtube.com/Ion, IONTRONE, Ion Throne. So thanks very much for your feedback, and thank you for putting that together for people. It makes it a lot easier searching YouTube. And just wanted to give, let people know that, I think it was Tadia, I wanted to tell her that I feel Theon is still misunderstood and quite sensitive. So I'm going to stick to my guns here. I know that he's a bit of an asshole too, but I think he's misunderstood. Just like Joffrey, guys. Working towards a degree in theology in real life, this actor, and he wants to go in academia. He doesn't want to be a professional actor down the road. This is what he wants to do. So I thought you guys should know that there is a good natured person behind both of these characters, and Just, keep your feedback coming. If you don't like them, they're doing a great job as actors. Last but not least, on our after show tonight at 11 p.m., we are going to try something a little bit new. We are going to offer 5 questions. We're going to try and present these through Twitter live during the broadcast. And hopefully we can see some feedback from you on the spot. We're not sure we'll be able to mention it, but we'll be definitely able to mention it next time around. So stay tuned, 11 p.m. tonight, for those 5 very
5
significant,
cool, fun questions that you should
questions.
actually interact with, and it'll be interesting to see some of the answers.
Absolutely. Listen, everybody, enjoy the show.
Absolutely. I'm Curtis Hollister.
I'm Sheldon McGilvery.
And you're watching the pre-show for Game of Thrones, Season 2, Episode 9, Blackwater.
See you then.